Listen, babe, do you? Hi guys, I'm Ree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and you're feeling so led, please hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. I'd love to have you join the family. If you're returning, hey besties, you already know what we got going on today. Another day, another meal prep. I'm so excited for today's meal prep because I'm featuring 3 recipes that I think are so fun and creative. They are definitely going to mix up and spice up your meal rotation. So definitely get your pens and paper out because you're going to want to be writing these recipes down. I will also link everything down below in the description box, as well as all of the recipes, everything that I use, including measurements, additions, and tweaks to the recipes. All of the links will be posted down below. But before we get into today's meal prep, I just wanted to talk to you guys because I just need everybody to really listen to this disclaimer, okay? I am not a professional. I'm not a registered dietitian or a nutritionist. I am literally somebody who is just trying to figure out what works best for her. Everything that I do in these videos is basically based off of what I like and what's working for me. You do not have to follow every single thing that I do. Listen, babe, do you? I'm gonna say it again because I don't think you heard me. I'm not a professional. These videos are only to provide you with creative meal inspiration. Feel free to tweak to your liking. I am not telling you that you need to eat exactly like me. Our bodies are completely different, so what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. We could be eating the same exact foods and still get different results. I need y'all to understand that. We all know your girl seasons with love over here, and let me just be clear about this. I have a lot of seasonings in my cabinet because I'm not ever going to eat bland food. That's just not it for me, right? However, a lot of my seasonings are saltless options because I know how my body reacts to salt. Please don't assume that I'm just over salting my food or using excessive seasonings that contain salt, because that's not the case. I have shared my struggle with salt and how my body bloats and retains all this water weight. I don't really like the impact that salt has on my body. So if you see me seasoning with seasonings, all of the garlic powder, chili powder, red pepper flakes, all of that has no salt in it, okay? So I am a little bit more generous with those. I do watch the amount of sodium that I intake in a day, and I drink a gallon of water daily. So I'm able to counteract the salt that I am putting within my body. So I just wanted to comment on that and clear the air because I get a lot of questions about that. I get a lot of negative comments about that too. And I just want to be very real and honest. Take what you want from these videos and move forward. I am not here to tell you how you need to season your food, how to cook. I don't get things right all the time. I'm just working to try and figure out what works best for me, but I'm never going to eat unseasoned food. So I don't really know what to tell you. So just wanted to clear the air about that. But now that that's all out of the way, today I'm featuring 3 new recipes. Well, 2 new recipes, and one I've tried before, but I'm doing a little bit of a spin on it. So for breakfast, I am making some strawberry chocolate breakfast cookies, and they're so good. They taste like chocolate covered strawberries. I'm not lying. They literally taste like chocolate covered strawberries, and they're so good. For lunch, I'm making a kale power salad with quinoa, chickens, and dried fruits, and I absolutely loved it. It's super simple, super quick, and definitely a recipe that I think would be a great fit for a meal plan just to keep things interesting. And finally, for dinner, I am making these Thai chicken spring rolls. So I featured this Thai chicken recipe in a What I Eat in a Day video a couple weeks back, and I wrapped them in lettuce, and it was so good. But I wanted to give a different little spin, and I rolled them up in rice paper wraps, and I loved this. Honestly, so good, so creative, so quick and easy, and it's macro and calorie friendly. I am intuitively eating. However, I still am mindful of everything that I'm putting in my body, portions and all of that. So I still do weigh out the food. I'm just not tracking. If my body's hungry, then I'm hungry and I'm gonna eat. And if I'm not hungry, I'm not gonna eat. So I'm not gonna force myself to eat 3 meals a day if my body isn't wanting it at this time. I'm just trying to play around with some things. It's very much trial and error for me, but I just wanted to give you an update on that. I still am intuitively eating, but I still am being mindful of the serving sizes and the portion sizes that I'm putting into my body as well. So without further ado, let's jump into this meal prep. So to make our strawberry breakfast cookies, these are all of the ingredients that we're going to need. So to start making them, I'm going to first wash and chop my strawberries. I'm going to follow up by mashing some bananas. The browner, the better, because they're super sweet and you don't have to really rely on any other sweeteners. I do add a little bit of honey in this recipe, which you will see. I will also link the Pinterest link down below just in case you want to check out the original recipe. But basically, I'm just going to throw everything into a bowl, combine it, mix it, form some cookies, and call it a day. combine 2 cups of oats, a half a cup of creamy almond butter, but any nut butter will work here, 3 tablespoons of honey, this is optional. Then I'm gonna follow up with my mashed bananas, the fresh strawberries, salt, and an offensive amount of cinnamon because we know how we do over here with the cinnamon. And then I'm going to combine. Now for my favorite part about this cookie, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of stevia sweetened Lily's milk chocolate chips, and I'm also going to add an additional 1/4 cup of dark chocolate chunks from Trader Joe's, just adding some dimension and texture here. And also we love chocolate. I just wanted to like switch it up because I always use like the mini chocolate chips or little chocolate chips, so I'm doing 2 types of chocolate chips here to, you know, be a little bit fancy. And now we're going to scoop our dough and form into little cookie balls, and then I'm going to flatten them on the baking sheet and top them with extra fresh strawberries and a little bit more chocolate because, you know, we just love chocolate over here. Now that the cookies are ready to go into the oven, I'm going to bake them at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes or until the bottom gets golden brown. And here they are cooling. I have some small cookies and some bigger ones because I didn't want them to be as small. I thought they were going to spread, but they didn't. But here's just a little close-up. She looks fire, and she was. Alright, so for lunch we are making our kale quinoa salad. So here I am just following the directions on the pouch of quinoa. I have the tri-colored quinoa because it's cute or whatever, adding some water, a little bit of salt, and then some garlic powder, bringing it to a boil and setting it aside. Now to make the seasoning for my protein, I'm using 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, a teaspoon and a half of Trader Joe's Green Goddess, a little bit of salt and pepper, some garlic powder. I believe I use about 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon of paprika, and 2 teaspoons of chili powder. I'm just going to mix and set aside while I prep my proteins. So to add some diversity to my meal prep this week, I'm using salmon and chicken for my salad so I can switch between the two. I'm just going to use some of the seasoning on both of them, making sure to coat all sides, rub it down, and I did add a little bit of olive oil to each just for a little extra moisture and to help the seasoning stick to both the chicken and salmon. Now I'm just going to sear the chicken and the salmon separately on the stove over medium-high heat. I'm using a little bit of olive oil to fry them in, and I'm just going to cook it until it's all the way through. The salmon was a bigger cut of meat, so I did end up popping that in the oven for about 10 minutes at 350 degrees just to make sure it was cooked all the way through. I'm just going to use a fork and fluff up my quinoa and then just taste for any seasonings that it might need. It was fine with the garlic and the salt. I didn't have to add anything else. And now I'm just going to set it aside and get ready to assemble my salads. Now to build the base of my salad, I used a mixture of baby kale and then this pre-made red cabbage and kale salad mix from Trader Joe's. Once my base is down, I'll follow up with the quinoa, my proteins, which is either the chicken or the salmon, and then finally I'll top with some pistachios and dried blueberries. know that it's called pistachio nut meats. I got the biggest kick out of that because I've never heard it called nut meats before, but listen, let y'all be great. I will just say this, you could actually leave the pistachios off and add them daily because the longer they sat in the fridge, the softer the nuts became, I guess. Not like soft, but they just lost that crunch. So I would recommend just not putting the pistachios on right now, but the dried blueberries did well in the fridge. So to start my Thai chicken spring rolls, I'm just chopping up half of a yellow onion, finely chopping some green onions. I do both the dark green parts and the light parts for a nice garnish. Next, I'm going to make the sauce. So I have a tablespoon of honey, a quarter of a cup of low sodium soy sauce. I'm gonna eyeball about 2 to 3 tablespoons of sriracha, a squeeze of lemon juice. It calls for lime, but I didn't have that, so I used what I had. 1 teaspoon of chili onion crunch, a dash of ground ginger, a little bit of paprika, and 1 full tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm just going to mix it and set it aside till I'm ready to add it to my meat mixture. Now to make our meat mixture, I'm going to use 2 packages of ground chicken. I'm going to add my yellow onions and some garlic in the pan. I was supposed to add that first, but I got ahead of myself. So I'm gonna break up the chicken and cook the onions and garlic in with the chicken for the next 5 or so minutes until most of the pink is gone. Then I'm going to add some fresh ginger because I tried to use a garlic press for the ginger and it did not work. So I'm adding about a tablespoon of fresh minced ginger. I'm gonna cook until it's all done, and then I'm going to season lightly with a little bit of chili powder for the color, and then add the sauce and let it simmer. So now that the meat mixture is completely cooked, I'm going to turn off the heat and add some green onions and carrots, mix it all the way through, and then I'm going to garnish using the rest of the green onions, some chopped cashews, and a little bit of black sesame seeds because I don't have any of the tan ones, and then of course some red pepper flakes because that is my signature. So to assemble the spring rolls, I soaked my rice paper and I added some jalapenos, shredded carrots, some lettuce, and the meat mixture, and I'm just going to roll it up. You can't really make the spring rolls that early in advance, so every day I just warmed up the meat mixture and then just made a set of 3 for dinner, and it's just as easy as that, so enjoy me rolling. And then I will show you the dipping sauce that I used. I got it from Trader Joe's and it was a really nice addition to it. And then of course, garnishing with a little bit of black sesame seeds because we're being extra. Okay guys, so this is basically going to conclude this week's meal prep. I loved everything about this meal prep. It took me about 1 hour and 30 minutes plus cleanup time, which was like 15 minutes. So 1 hour 45 minutes tops. That's 1 day out of the week that you have to cook. And that's a pretty good bargain to me because who feels like cooking every day? I don't. I am trying to stick to eating the same meals 5 to 6 days out of the week because it's just like too much for me right now. With my work schedule, I can't really balance cooking in the middle of the week. Like I can't commit to it. So right now I'm gonna suck it up. But once school is over, I will be probably doing double the meal prep videos because I do think it's important to switch up the meal plan. That way you're able to stick to it. I really love this meal prep because the recipes were so good. I've tried every single one of the recipes and they are like literally 10 out of 10. I really outdid myself this time, if I do say so myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you tried the recipes. I definitely want to hear if you guys have tried them. Tag me in your Instagram post if you put it on there. Definitely let me know down below in the comments section if you enjoyed them, and anything that you want to see in the future featured on my page, especially recipes, definitely let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you on my next.